All right, guys, we're back for the round 20 review of AFL Supercoach 2022. So, what's this? This is like the second last round or third, something like that. 23-78 score. Not that great, honestly. There was a big blunder I made, but yeah, just not great overall. Looks like we're going to be ending 9,000. Maybe I'll break like 8,900, but yeah, I think this is basically where I'm sitting for the year. Not great, but a lot of mates and stuff I know, they're stuck in like the mid 10,000s and some even further back than that. So it's a tough year. I think a lot of like, you had to put faith in a lot of guys that you don't usually, like Brody, for instance. Usually that would be like, yeah, it's not going to work. Low time on ground, injury history, role insecurity, like, yeah. Yeah, so I'll just go into like the big blunders I made. So brought in Stewart literally on the way home from work. Like, there was a red light, so, check the team. I heard on the radio Cogs was out. So traded Hewitt to Stewart, and then then just took Canelli off field and swapped Rioli to Cully, which we'll go into that. But in doing so, I left Ware on field, whereas it should have been short. So what's that? That's like 34 points or 24 points, something like that. That would have helped in rank, but is what it is, especially when people probably didn't trade Hewitt. If you didn't trade him, what would you have? They would have had short on field. Yeah, I could have made up points. That's a bit annoying. But yeah, anyway. Sinclair was good. Thought he'd be a bit better, but it is what it is. Let's just bring up last week's games. The Richmond game was pretty good. Like, that game was pretty nice to watch. Stewart, I didn't really catch much of this game. I wanted to. I kind of like set aside time for it, but then got home and I was tired as hell, so I just went to sleep. So yeah, from the bits I saw on the Sunday morning show, he looked good. He started off hot and then like cooled down and then picked it back up. So I'm guessing it's just a bit of getting back into game form. I think Stewart was the best option when you're trading Hewitt, because you want something that's like consistent, not really like a worry pick. Like the Hewitt to Himmelberg was like, I would never do that, honestly. Just too much that can go wrong, and you're trading a good player in Hewitt to someone that's like a question. Sicily just wasn't really all there. Thought he'd be better against the Saints because, I don't think Max King is really that good. I think he's just, slightly above average. I thought Sicily would be better than that, but it is what it is. Doherty, Carlton just kind of got, I don't want to say they got smashed by Adelaide, but it did feel like that. So, yeah, it is what it is. Again, it was at Adelaide Oval, so the Crows can kind of pull stuff out from there. Chris was bad. Like, at best you can say solid, but 60 is just not good. He's on the never again list. Like, that's for sure. Even short, I reckon. Like, next year, the defenders are just going to be too good. At the end of the video, I'll go through some defenders. There's just no reason next year to pick players like this. That, they can score 120, but they can also give you a bunch of 50s and 60s that kill their average and then kill your score. Where he was fine. GWS weren't competitive at like any point of the game versus Sydney, which, I mean, for a derby game, you'd think players came up a bit more, but nah, it just didn't happen. D'Ambrosio was alright. Short was good. Short started really bad that I was like, all right, well, Maybe I messed up, but it didn't even look like he was going to reach 49. I think it was on like 3 at quarter time. Yeah, so he picked it up when Richmond made the comeback. So second half of the third and then the fourth. Laird was good. So I was going to go Laird into Took anyway. Because the report came out during the week, Adam Simpson just talking about Took, like, saying, oh, is he a really taggable player? We're going to send some attention to him and whatever. Should have known that West Coast can't do that. They can barely play, let alone tag. So yeah, I probably should have just stuck it on this. Both were fine though. Laird I didn't catch much of, but Tuco did. I mean, he does his normal stuff. His work rate's insane. It's why he's never going to be a bad pick, ever, because his work rate's so good. Oliver was down a bit, which is interesting because Melbourne blew him out. Like this one was a blowout. This one wasn't close. Around the ground, Freo just got beaten everywhere, which is surprising because that's usually a good game for Oliver. But it just went to Petrarca. I think it's because Aish was on Oliver, like doing the tag. But I don't see many other teams doing that. So it doesn't work if you want to actually stop Melbourne. Merritt was good. It was actually really good. Like, very, very, very good. Because what did he have? Like 100 and something DT in the second half. Absolutely insane. Neil, he was alright. Yeah, nothing to write home about. Brisbane weren't good in the second half of that game, so that killed the score. I think at halftime he was tracking for like an alright 120 or something like that, but fell off. Petrarca was good. He was pretty fine actually. McRae was down, but that barely ever happens, so I'm fine with that. And then Cripps is back. Pitney's back in. This should be the run for Cripps. Yeah, he starts to play proper inside mid, like the bull inside mid, so this should be good for him. We'll see if he can keep this up, because he's had some shocker scores. Yeah, look at that. What's that, 5 weeks, 6 weeks of no tons? That's pretty poor. Considering how he started off the year, 130, 160, 140. He was hurt in that game. He was had to have been the leading Brownlow vote getter for like 7 rounds. Owens played, which was surprising. I think it was a late in. Carmichael played, wasn't that good. He was a sub. If I'd known Owens was playing, I would have taken that. Darcy got bullied by Gawn and a bit of Luke Jackson. Witts was fine. Nick Nat was playing, and the second half of the season, Witts hasn't been too great against good ruckman. Yeah, just not that good. Against no ruckman, he's good. 117, 148. I can't remember if Goldstein was playing here. He's good against no ruck, but I mean, any competent player should be. Bont, fell off from the last 2 weeks, but he was due for a down game. I think he had like a 160 and 170 in the last 2 weeks. 180 and 160. Yeah, he was in line for a bit of a drop off. Parker was good, 120. I feel like I saw him the whole game. Like, he was always around the ball. Just didn't get it every time, but it was fine. English, not impressive really. I thought he'd do better. But yeah, just what it is. I still think next year the forward line is Bont, English. If Dunkley's going to keep it, so probably him as well. Heaney was good, probably a little bit underscored, but then he did miss, I think, 2 shots in front of goal. So that would have really helped the score. Dunkley, 130, take it. He's been building towards it. No, he hasn't actually. 67, 62. Not amazing, but I mean, it's Dog's midfielder. Sometimes he just can't get the ball, and Bevo just chucks him up forward. I never understood that philosophy. Get a player involved in the game, so you put him up forward. I I don't understand that at all. Yeah, then like I said, Cogs didn't play, so which was good because I needed a loop because I wasn't sure if Bazza was playing. But yeah, Collie got suspended 2 games. He's just I don't know what the hell got into his head. Did punch what's his name? Noah Anderson, I think it was. It's just bad, honestly. Like I was hoping just for a 50, but couldn't even get that. I don't even know if there was a better option for me to get, so I'll just have a look. I had like 180k, something like that. Who was there? Average. Yeah, no. I guess Hollins I could have taken a punt on, but I wasn't really a big fan of his first game, so yeah, second game I wasn't too impressed. Yeah, not really anyone. Josh Morris. Yeah. So that was pretty much the only option, and he sucked and he got suspended. It's probably going to hurt his spot in the team, to be honest. Yeah, just going through defenders, like I said before. So next year, I think it's pretty clear you want Stewart, Sicily, one of Dawson, Sinclair. I think that's the defense you start with. That's a lot of money to put in defense because like that's 115 average, almost 115 average, and then 110 average. So they're going to be pretty pricey, especially when you look at the midfield. Midfield's going to be so expensive next year. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 guys over 120, which you kind of want all of them. Bont is almost at 120. If Mills hadn't, I think he had like 2 bad games that pulled him under 120. Yeah. Oh, really? 80s. I thought they were like down in the 60s, but yeah, there's a lot. Like McRae is down the list. He's number 7. He's usually in the top 5. Steele could get a discount. Not like actually, nah, he won't. He's only missed 4 games. It felt like a lot longer, but yeah, he's not getting any discount. There's not really anyone here. Walsh. Parrish is good, but after this year, I don't think I'd ever start him, to be honest. Bogue's too old, just like he's not relevant anymore. Even if he puts up good averages, he's just not relevant because of how old he is. The injury prone is just, not someone you want to be picking. Depending on new coach in GWS, if they do get Clarkson, I don't think they will. I think Alistair's going to either go north or maybe interstate. I don't know. Yeah, maybe Kelly will be a pick because he's good. Like Josh Kelly is actually one of the better mids in the comp, but the team sucks around him, and he had to put up with Leon Cameron for so many years. Dawson shouldn't get mid. He should keep defender. I think actually he's going to lose mid. I haven't looked at the splits at all, but he could lose mid. Hewitt's going to be mid only. I haven't seen him in defense like at all. Like maybe he slides back a little bit, but I don't see him in defense. Then there's not really any guys down here. I think Rosie you pick if he's a forward at like. It'd have to be under 500k to pick him. Just not a fan of spending so much money on like players that could fail. Even though I've done it before. Just trying to learn from the mistakes. Matt Crouch is an interesting one because he's pretty injury prone at this point, and his scores aren't the best. But if he plays for like St Kilda, him and Brad Crouch should be able to do something together. Tom Mitchell, maybe. I think he's leaving Hawthorn, but no one knows. But yeah, that's basically it for this week. I'm dragging this out for no reason. I'll see you all next week. What is it? 2 weeks left? Something like. What are we in? 23 rounds, isn't there? Yeah. So 2 2 weeks left. No, 3 weeks left. Yeah. I'll see you all next week. Tasty out.